Welcome to the series of videos on pipe network productivity tools for AutoCAD Civil 3D. In this video, we'll discuss the network quantities label command. Civil 3D has a number of ways of gathering quantities on your pipe networks in your drawings, but none of them group like pipes, sizes, and materials to summarize total quantities. Additionally, there's no way to look at a pipe and sample the depth of the pipe at different intervals along the pipe to figure out quantities. And so that's where quantities label of pipe network productivity tools comes in. Now, if you subscribe to the full suite, you'll find it here. If you subscribe to network quantities label, you'll find it on the add-ins tab of Civil 3D. But we'll go ahead and run the command, and you'll see you have different options here. We have an all, which is going to grab all networks, pipe networks in the drawing. It currently does not support pressure networks. Then we have network to choose just an individual network. You have multiple just to pick pipes on screen. So you could window a section of your drawing and grab those pipes in that area and only do the quantities on that section. And then we have path, which allows for picking a start and end structure or pipe and then finding the path through that network. And then we have alignment, which will define a swath. There's another video that describes more of how all these methods work, but these are the options we have for obtaining all of your pipe network components. And so I'm just going to choose network just for simplicity of this video. And we're going to pick my storm network here, and I'm not going to filter. And I'm going to go ahead and let that pull in. It'll take a second while it pulls everything into the initial calculation that it does. And so you can see here we have some initial calculation on that network already being done. And then we have options here. Do we want to gather the parts by part size name or by description? So you have you can toggle that back and forth, and you'll see that stuff change here. You do have to click update because we don't want to slow you down anymore. And so what you can do as you make changes, it'll tell you that something's out of date, and you would have to click update. There is an auto update here if you do want to wait for that to happen. I'm going to stick with part size name. And then we have pipe options here that allow us to pick the different pipe measuring options that Civil 3D offers. So I'm going to use 3D center to center. Next, we have itemized pipe lengths by depth below surface. So I'm going to go ahead and click this, and then I can select which surface I want to utilize. So I can use my design corridor here, and I want to measure to the very bottom of the pipe, so I know the full depth of the pipe installed. So I'll click depth range settings now, and within the depth range settings we have structure depth range settings and pipe depth range settings here, and so you can go ahead and program these in to what you want it to be. I'm having it check between 0 and 3 foot, 3 to 6, 6 to 12, and 12 and anything greater. And then for the pipes, it's based off of sample frequency, so it's going to sample that pipe every 1 foot or 1 unit, and then measure below that surface to get the elevation, and then it's going to quantify everything. So I'm going to hit apply here. And then the next section down is our structure quantities. So do we want to count structures, and do we want to count structures by depth? So let's go ahead and do those by depth as well. So we have the ability to do the bottom of the structure or the sump. And again, this depth range settings is the same options that we just saw. And then I'm going to go ahead and click update and let this pull all that data in. So you can see how it's breaking everything down into the ranges and the pipes within those ranges. And so down in here you've got 3 to 6 foot, about 212 feet of pipe. Notice that there's about 1.2 that's not underneath the surface there. So it gives you a good quantity based off of your depth zones here. And you can continue to refine this, click update, let this build out this list here. And then when you're done, you go over to report settings, and you have the ability to insert as mtext or a table into your drawing. And then you also have an export to CSV. I'm going to go ahead and just choose insert as mtext, and I'm going to place this in my drawing, and here's the output, similar to what was in there, just in the drawing for us. Thanks for watching. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions, and be sure to check out our other apps on the Autodesk Exchange Store.